Think. My name is Amy Ballantyne. Welcome to Power to the People Pleasers. I'm so excited to have my guest here, Carley. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Carley, I'm excited that you are here bringing this warm perspective. You're a Canadian like me, but you're down in the sunny South right now, enjoying another time of life down there. But so many cool things that you do, so many cool things. Registered Holistic Nutritionist, Yogi and Yoga Teacher, Breath and Meditation Coach. My goodness, the trusted health advisor. I'm excited for us to dive into this concept of letting go of what other people think. But before we get into that, have you ever been a people pleaser and how did that show up in your life?
Wow, absolutely. Have I ever been a people pleaser? The older past version of myself who I've completely forgiven and see through the lens of such love now, but I can immensely relate to being a notorious people pleaser. It was heavy, and I think it kind of came from a lack of self knowledge. If you take the axiom knowledge is power, then self knowledge is self power, right? And I really cared. I really cared what people thought of me. I wanted to be liked. I wanted to be loved. And it came from a lack of liking and truly loving myself on an intrinsic level.
Mm-hmm. And so for you, was there a particular catalyst or specific moments that helped you to shift away from that? Because you're saying your past self.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. Great question. I can't pinpoint one moment other than a bunch of collective um, being at the right place at the right time, meeting the right people who inspired me, and I could see that they wanted for more. So it started planting seeds for me to want for more. I wanted to change. And the
Yeah.
universe is mental, right? It's the first spiritual law. It all starts from a thought. So I just had the capacity to start thinking greater than my current situation or the reality that I was experiencing, and things started to shift. And then once you've got that momentum, because life is based on momentum, you've
Yeah.
either got momentum going forwards or up, or you've got momentum going down and back. And I was able to turn my momentum around to actually use it to my advantage. So it really started from a deep desire for more. I wanted for more. And then I had to bring myself to the belief that I deserved more.
Yeah. That's a big one. That's a really big one. The deserving more. For all those people listening, my goodness, you deserve more, right? If we can be that inspiration for people.
If you want for more, you deserve
Mhm.
for more. It's not a
Yeah.
matter of wanting for more in the material sense, although
Mhm.
there's nothing wrong with manifesting that because all things are on that spiritual. If you can manifest things in the material, that's also part of the spiritual journey. But it wasn't about that. It's just, if deep down there's this knowing that your life, your current life experience is not unfolding in the way that you wanted it to go as a little child with limitless imagination, and your current reality is not unfolding in that sense, then it's time to check back in and tap in with that all-knowing version of yourself, that higher version or the inner child essence of who you are. And we've got work to do because we're truly here to live the life of our dreams. We're allowed to live the life of our dreams guilt-free, shame-free, unabashedly, unapologetically. We're here to create.
Yes. Yes. I love that. So I'd love to know, so now you have let go of what other people think of you.
Mhm.
What a gift.
Yeah.
Are there specific things that you would tell people who are really wrapped up in that right now to help them begin on that journey?
And I will preface with this. That version of myself who truly cared comes up every once in a while. So
Well,
it's not
yeah.
right. It's not
Human.
like I'm free and clear. It's that it happens less frequently. When
Mhm.
it happens, it's on a lower volume, if that makes sense.
Yes.
The thoughts that would be on repeat, right? Because we're programs. We're
Mhm.
working on a program, our conditioned selves. And when it happens, it doesn't have that same power over me, and I'm not latching beliefs to those thoughts. I'll actually talk back to those thoughts. So that's
Yes.
actually one of the tools that I would say when that thought of, or really like, I want this person to like me, or
Mhm.
I'm really down because this person said something about me, which actually happened. I can give you a real life experience that
Yeah.
really put to the test everything that I'm putting out there about.
Mhm.
Let it go. Drop what other people are thinking about you because it's none of your business. Your
Mhm.
business is your business. Their business is their business. And then there's God's business. So if you
Yeah.
want to categorize what they're thinking as, that's God's business. That's not my business.
Mhm.
It takes off the pressure. You don't have to
Mm.
be responsible for that. They have to be accountable for what's happening in their own monkey mind. And I have to be responsible of like sieving through the clutter and turning down the volume. So that's what I do. I turn down the volume of those thoughts. I talk back to those thoughts like a
Yes.
giant teenager, and it feels
Mhm.
good. So it might sound a little crazy, but let's say the thought comes up like, I'm down because of what someone said about me. And I know it's not true, that um, it's an opportunity for me to really tap into the truth of who I am, the steadfast, unchanging essence beneath skin, deeper than bone, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
who am I? And so you can ask yourself some really important questions like, what really matters? Because, you know, we're all going to die. It's not a negative thing. We're all going to die. And what really can you take to your grave? You're not taking any of that stuff to
Yeah.
your grave. What are you taking? You're taking with you the love. So
Mhm.
love is actually the only truth. So if someone says or thinks something about you that you don't think is true, or you in your heart know is not true, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter,
Mm.
because truth is the only resolution. And if you carry that in your heart with a knowingness that you don't detach from truth,
Yeah.
and everything else falls away. So I have like the tools that I use. Another tool that I use is thought implementation. So if my thoughts are looping, then I'll implant another thought that makes me feel good. And it could be a memory, a really nice memory, or it could be something that I'm going to co create with someone in the future that I'm really excited to collaborate with this amazing person and learn along the way. So I'll implant thoughts that it's not about bypassing, it's about keeping your vibration high.
Mhm.
Because if you're looping in a negative thought, turn down the volume,
Yeah.
detach belief, and then start implementing or implanting a thought that actually does feel good, and then hang out in that space, meet your 0 point, the neutral
Mhm.
field, and then it's like an instant reset. So I
Beautiful.
have mechanisms to reset when that old version of me who doesn't want to die starts to come up, right? And
Mhm.
me, I even had a funeral for an old version of myself. I put her to death and I wrote a eulogy
Wow.
for myself.
Wow.
And that was a very powerful exercise. And truth be told, I've done it more than once. That I've written a eulogy for parts of myself that I no longer want to present to the world. She was living out an experience that was necessary in the moment where I felt scared or not safe
Mhm.
or traumatized. And now I am safe. So that version of myself that wanted to come forward in that moment, it's out of date. It's not
Mhm.
in the here and the now. So you can do things like that. Actually, the birth, the death cycle is constant. And so, like, making it concretized, have a funeral for yourself, write yourself a eulogy. When I started truly dropping the need to be liked, I reached a dangerous level of freedom, and everything changed.
Wow. Wow. So many beautiful nuggets there. So many. I love that you're talking about very practical things of the implantation of the thoughts, of the eulogy from the self that's no longer serving. The fact that we are, running on old programs in the past,
Yeah.
but there is a way to say, okay, I see a brighter future for myself. I desire a brighter future, and I can take these steps. I think it's very powerful. Now, I'd love to know, you are the trusted health advisor. So many different ways that you help people in their health. What is the link between all of these ways that you support well-being, right? With
Mhm.
yoga and nutrition and breath and meditation, all of these pieces with helping people to step into their next level of the self that they're becoming.
Yeah, it's kind of based on the principle of holism.
Mhm.
That we are whole. We are not broken. That we are whole, and in that wholeness, we're more than a body. We have you know uh, many different emotional bodies and layers, energetic layers, the mental sheath, the spiritual, the celestial. So in wholeness, I started becoming acquainted with these more subtle bodies of my own experience. And I actually found that that's where the magic existed. And I started, going really, really into the power of my heart. And I learned how to forgive myself. I learned how to forgive others, perhaps for not liking me, right?
Yeah.
I don't need to be liked. I can hardly control myself, let alone other people, right?
What
Because
other people are.
thoughts, they automatically happen. We,
Yeah.
they're automatic. Thoughts are automatic. It's a thinking machine. The brain is a machine. It's a transmitter, it's a receiver, and it's running on a program. We've got the conscious, we've got the unconscious, and then we've got the superconscious, potentially another topic altogether. So instead of, looking at the elbow as just the elbow, I started seeing it in this like whole state that, your elbow is connected to the end of your hair strand, and your hair strand is connected to your toenail. And it's like, we are all connected. Everything is connected in our world. You and I are connected. Our subtle bodies are interacting right now. Our mental fields are entangling right now.
Yeah.
And so I started incorporating this as opposed to like this reductionistic point of view, which I was raised by. If something's going on with the skin, blame the skin. It's a pimple. Well, what's really happening on the inside? Is the skin a fingerprint of, maybe the liver is trying to communicate, or the skin and the kidneys, they're in constant communication. So it was being able to see more than meets the eye, and also being able to hear more than meets the ear, and kind of tapping in and tuning in to some of the things that were false beliefs, and being, looking through the lens of illusion.
Mhm.
And so I think disillusionment is a very good thing. I love to be disillusioned, because when you're disillusioned, it means that you're removing the veil of illusion through the lenses that you're perceiving life. And perception is everything.
Yes.
You know, um, Beliefs are powerful, very powerful. So if you're going to believe in anything, believe in yourself, believe in your dreams. And if you're going to doubt anything, doubt your limitations, doubt the things that hold you back, because where you invest your belief is actually how you're going to experience your tomorrow and your next week. It's all happening. We're constructing the future in this very now moment.
Yes. Yes. So what are some practices that you use to stay present in the now?
Breath
Mm.
is an instant way to presence yourself in this now moment, but it also connects you to, when you look at the word respiration, the word spirit is built right in the word
Wow.
respiration, right? So it's like you're not just connecting to this
Ah.
moment, you can connect to source,
Mm.
connect to your higher self. So believe in the power of pause and push pause and take a few breaths. I also like to tap.
Mhm.
Use tapping points.
Yes.
I'm a big
Same.
fan of EFT. Yes. So, and all of these things are free too. It's
Mm.
like, if I need to calm my nerves or regulate my nervous system, I'll lay horizontal or I'll put my feet up so I get that
Mhm.
reverse blood flow action that's going to biochemically change the adrenaline, the cortisol state in my being, like instantly, right? Because our endocrine system there, it's just faucets. You turn
Yeah.
on a faucet, slow drip, or you turn it on to a really
Rush.
steady stream.
Yeah.
And you can, use these free tools that are really, really powerful. But it's also the mind that governs all of these things. The unconscious mind is regulating your thyroid gland and taking care of your circulation and your beats per minute. So it's like, what else is happening in the unconscious mind that is connected to how I'm perceiving myself? Because again, going back to, if you've lost sense of self, then naturally you're going to look for validation in the external world, in the environment that you've built around yourself. And oftentimes what I witness is we build our community and we pick our friends to confirm our
Mm.
current state of mind. So the I can't club likes to hang out together, right? Because
Yes.
we have companies. So that I can't club often likes to congregate together.
Mhm.
So that you've got to extract yourself from the environment that keeps you playing small, because people who play small stay small. So it's
Mhm.
uncomfortable. Get out of there and leave the comfort zone and hang out with people who are doing the things that you wish to be doing.
Yes. Yes. I love that. So, when you think about the free guide that you have for everyone is around hormones, actually, and you brought that up to unlocking happiness. Can you
Mhm.
share a little bit about that so people know what they have access to?
Yeah. So essentially, going back to the physical, right? So
Hmm.
if you look at the realms, mind, body, heart, soul, but in the physical body, we're built out of flesh and bones and fluids and the the chemical aspect. We're electrical, chemical, and magnetic. So the chemical aspect, that's part of our hormone constituent. So every time you think a thought, you're going to release a cascade of hormones that are either feel good hormones like dopamine or oxytocin, or produce not feel good hormones like cortisol and, God forbid, adrenaline to get you out of danger. That's what
Yes.
adrenaline is for. It actually is. It should be the very last thing. Well, most people are living in an adrenalized state because they've tapped out their cortisol, which
Mhm.
means they don't have access to the same feel good neurotransmitters that someone who is more aware. They've got a greater awareness because they're practicing presence techniques or breath work or movement. So the whole thing is we're electrical, chemical, and magnetic. And our hormones, that's our chemical aspect. And there's a direct relationship between our thoughts and our feelings. Thoughts are languages of the brain, feelings are languages of the body, right? And what comes first? Is it the thought that creates the feeling? the hormone, or is it the hormone that needs to get into the cell because we've programmed our cells to run on adrenaline? We've programmed our cells to take in cortisol more than we have to take in, um, dopamine or oxytocin. So through the vagus nerve, which travels up and down through the neck, right? And the vagus nerve is also called the soul nerve. There's a connection between the mind and the body. And that's all part of our biochemical state. And we get to choose that ultimately through willpower, through the power of our focus. Again, if we're having 60,000 thoughts a day, we're not carefully selecting our focus, that it's going to be driven by what has your mind body been on repeat for the past 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, right? Because thoughts are happening automatically, but the other part of that is most of them, 70% of them, are recycled from yesterday. So the problem is people are waking up and remembering their problems from yesterday. And then that's creating a chemical cascade, and that's training their cells at a membrane level to put more receptor sites for those adrenaline, cortisol, lock and key to get into the cell, to feed the cell. But you can't operate like that for too long. You will eventually exhaust. It's like, how long can you run full speed? Not that long. So eventually what's going to happen is we'll exhaust, and they will, become fatigued in such a drastic manner. It doesn't have to come to that. So I wrote a book called Happiness is Hormonal.
Yes.
And I kind of put all the pieces together because we get to decide at a cellular level the receptor sites that are more present on the membrane of our cells, right? So if you have more cortisol receptors and they're not being fed, your cells are going to trigger a response in the brain to confirm a stressful feeling that your cells need to feed themselves, and you're going to look for drama. So half of the time people are addicted to drama and they just don't know it. They're in a relationship that when it becomes tense, they get that attention that feeds them, because negative attention is better than no attention. And that makes them feel loved. So they're perpetuating this cycle. So on a physical level, absolutely, happiness is hormonal. Hormones matter. And that's part of like the one layer. And then you start to layer what's happening in the heart and do some heart math. And then you layer what's happening in the emotional body, which is in a field outside of your body, right? And what's happening, what distortions are happening in your field. So it is layered. And a lot of people will say, like, how long does it take? It really is one choice. How long does it take to make your mind up and make a decision with conviction? How long does that take to make up your mind? But then you have to make it up again tomorrow, and you have to do it again the next day. So you're making the same decision more than once, but it could be that quick.
And making those choices, right? Aligned to that decision.
That's right. That's right. Words, thoughts, actions, habits.
Yes. Yes. Wow. Amazing. Well, I encourage everyone who's listening to go and grab the free download from you. It will be in the show notes below, so everyone can click that link and go grab that. That was so incredible how you described that, Carley. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Wow. What a powerful conversation. And I feel like you've added extreme value today in how people can begin to really let go of what other people are thinking and make that decision, make that powerful decision for themselves. So, Carley, I want to thank you so much for being on the podcast today, and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much for including me. And I have so enjoyed following along on your journey as well.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, and thank you to all of our listeners once again for tuning into Power to the People Pleasers. Please stay tuned for our next episode coming soon.